Hello everyone, this is chapter 14, arriving at the final price. Okay, we continue our discussion on pricing, one of the 4 Ps. Okay. We'll cover the approximate price level using demand-oriented, cost-oriented, or profit-oriented, and competition-oriented approaches. Okay. Do you guys use the Amazon's Kindle? Do you read the books on Kindle using ebooks, buying ebooks? E-readers were a disruptive change in publishing when they first introduced that. The change began with Amazon's Kindle and the $9.99 ebooks. And since then, a lot of things have changed, right? Many people change their reading behavior, buying behavior of books. Today, publishers set ebook prices and pay commissions to distributors, such as Amazon's Kindle. Okay? So it's a story of pricing for profit. Okay? Last chapter, we talked about the first 3 steps in setting price. Step 1, identify pricing objectives and constraints. Step 2, estimate demand and revenue. Step 3, determine cost, volume, and profit relationship. In this chapter, let's continue with steps 4, 5, and 6. Step 4, select an approximate price level. Step 5, set list or quoted price. And step 6, make adjustment of to list or quoted price. Okay. Overall, there are about 4 different approaches for selecting an approximate price level. Okay, and the marketers usually do that or use one of those approaches. Right. The first one is demand-oriented approaches. We use skimming pricing, penetration pricing, prestige pricing, price lining, odd-even pricing, target pricing, bundle pricing, and yield management to come up with the price. Okay. Approach 2 is called cost-oriented approaches, using standard markup price or cost-plus price or experience curve pricing. Okay. Approach 3 is use profit-oriented approaches, target profit, target return on sales, or target return on investment. And the 4th approach is called competition-oriented approach, using customary pricing or above, at, or below market price, or loss leader pricing. Okay, let's talk about each and every one of them. First is demand-oriented pricing approaches. Right, there's a term called the skimming pricing. What is skimming pricing? Skimming involves setting the highest initial price that customers who really desire the product are willing to pay when you're introducing new or innovative product. You see that in the fashion business, in clothing, the latest dresses. When they first have something new, new fashion, new model coming, they really set the price high for those consumers who are willing and wanting to buy. Just have to buy the newest one, newest fashion. Okay, so the manufacturers will get the maximum possible profit on those customers. Okay, the skimming pricing. Then there's penetration pricing. Penetration pricing involves setting a low initial price on a new product to appeal immediately to the mass market. They don't want to make too much money, but they want to make money a lot of people. So mass market. So this is why it's called penetration pricing. Right? There's also the prestige pricing that involves setting high price so that quality or status conscious consumers will be attracted to the product and buy it. That's called prestige pricing. And then price lining involves setting price of a line of products, not just one, but a line of products at a number of different specific pricing points. Okay, that's also used by companies offer different lines of products. Okay? And for prestige pricing, the demand curve for high quality product is actually backward sloping, like this blue line here. Okay? Meaning that if you start from point one, let's just start point C here, right? You increase price, and you can actually sell more, right? And then you increase price further, you're gonna sell less, okay? Of course, if you lower the price, you're not necessarily selling a whole lot more because people are after the prestige, and they think if you price too low, they're losing the prestige. So at this point here, B is probably the best for them for prestige pricing, where they can maintain a relatively high price and still, are capable of selling at a certain quantity. Okay? Energizer bunnies, batteries, okay? They have a lesson in price perception and value. Okay? Energizer priced advanced formula battery at the same price as the standard battery, but lost market share as consumers linked the low price with low quality. Okay? So then they're losing market share to Duracell. Okay? So then they priced E2 high performance battery higher than Duracell and higher than its own advanced formula battery. That price increase actually resulted in regained sales and market share. Okay, that's quite interesting now. And for price lining, the demand curve is elastic at each price point, but inelastic between price points, right? Between at certain, certain each price point is elastic, okay? But between the price points is inelastic, right? Therefore, having this kind of price lining demand curves, okay? And then there's also the odd-even pricing. What's odd-even pricing? That involves setting a price a few dollars or cents under an even number. You probably see that, in stores, something is priced at $29.99, just shy of $30. Okay, that's called odd-even pricing. There's a target pricing that consists of one, estimating the price that ultimate consumers would be willing to pay for a product. Two, working backward through markups taken by retailers and wholesalers to determine what price to charge wholesalers. And then three, deliberately adjusting the composition and feature of the product to achieve the target price to consumers. It's called target pricing. And then there is the bundle pricing that involves the marketing of two or more products in a single package price. Okay, have two or more products in a single package. So bundle pricing. Okay? Yield management pricing involves the charging of different prices to maximize revenue for a set amount of capacity at any given time. Okay? That's also used. Okay? That's the demand-oriented pricing approach. Okay? And then there is a cost-oriented pricing approach. Okay? First one is standard markup pricing. It involves cost and selling price. With standard markup pricing, basically adding a fixed percentage to the cost of all items in specific product class. Just add the cost, you find the cost, and a fixed percentage on top of that. That's standard markup pricing. Okay? And you can also use cost plus pricing that involves summing the total unit cost of providing a product or service and adding a specific amount to the cost to arrive at the price. Remember here, you just add a specific amount, not necessarily not a percentage. That's what's called a cost plus pricing. Okay? You can cost plus percentage of cost pricing, or you can use cost plus fixed fee pricing. Okay? Then there is an experienced curve pricing. That is a method of pricing based on the learning effect, which shows that the unit cost of many products and services declined by 10% to 30% each time a firm's experience at producing and selling them doubles. So therefore, you set your price based on that learning effect. Okay? That's cost-oriented pricing approach. Okay? This figure gives you an idea of the markup for manufacturer, wholesaler, and retailer on home appliance sold to consumers for $100. Here, this is what we pay at the setting price. Consumers pay $100. It started out at the manufacturer side. The cost to the manufacturer is about $51.77. Okay? And in order to get their profit, they add a markup of 15%. 15% of $51, about $7.76. So this one plus that give you a selling price of $59.53. That's selling price the manufacturers charge the wholesaler. Okay? So for the wholesaler, the starting cost is $59.53 right here. Okay? And then they will add up their markup of 20%. That would be $11.90, okay, to come up with the selling price of $71. That's the wholesale price. From this wholesale price goes to the retailer, which buys from the wholesaler for $71.43, and then they will mark up another 40%. That's $28.57 for our selling price of $100. You see that for something we buy at $100 price tag, it actually costs the manufacturer $51, about half. Okay, so who made the most or had the highest markup? Because this is the retailer normally, 40%, wholesaler 20%, manufacturers 15%. This about the rate that the different players charge. Okay? Then there's profit-oriented pricing approaches. One is called the target profit pricing. That is, you set an annual target for a specific dollar volume of profit. Say we want to make $1 million in profit. Okay, then from that you set your price. Okay? Or you can use target return on sales pricing. That involves set a price to achieve a profit that is a specified percentage of the sales volume. Okay? That's also used. Then there's a targeted return on investment pricing. Set a price to achieve an annual target return on investment, or ROI, as you learn in your finance or accounting class. Okay? The fixed ROI. For example, like General Electric, Jack Welch, the legendary executive manager, he passed away, I think, not too long ago. He was known for, requesting quite pretty high. I think it's 13%, if I'm not wrong. 13% on everything, all the business units and in General Electric would have to get in order to get his approval for the go ahead. Okay? These are the profit-oriented pricing approaches. Okay? This example of results of a spreadsheet simulation to select price that will achieve a target return on investment. I want you to read that. It's in the book. Read it. Look at that at a different scenario. Using a spreadsheet to do the simulation. Okay? Then there's a competition-oriented pricing approach. One is a customary pricing. Custom pricing involves setting price that is dictated by tradition, a standardized channel distribution, or other competitive factors, kind of like a customary, okay? That's custom pricing. Or you can use above, at, or below market price, okay? Above, at, or below market price involves setting market price for a product or product class based on a subjective feel for the competitor's price or market price as benchmark. So you have a product. I'm sure you find a similar product in the marketplace, You can set your price at the market price, just same price as others, or below or above. Okay. Then there's a loss leader pricing. What's the loss leader pricing? It involves the deliberately selling a product below its customary price, not to increase sales, but to attract customers' attention in hopes that they will buy other products which are large markups as well. I'm sure you've all seen this, right? When you go get coupons, or something's on sale at supermarkets or department store, let's say go to the supermarket, something's on sale, okay? It's really cheap. You go there, you buy that item, it's loss leader, it's loss leader priced. Then, we're not going to stop at just one, right? We're going to buy other things. But the other things actually have a large markup. So that's why the retailers will actually get a benefit from that, okay? This is competition-oriented pricing. And set the list or quoted price, choose a price policy. You can have a fixed price policy that involves setting one price for all buyers of a product or service, also called a one price policy. That's what most companies do. Also, some companies actually use a dynamic pricing policy that involves setting different prices for products and services in real time in response to supply and demand conditions. That's why it's also called flexible price policy. Okay? And let me give you an example here. You guys, have you used Uber or Lyft? Right? Both Uber and Lyft provide on-demand transportation, right? But the price, you see that there is a surge or prime time pricing during peak time. So at that time, the fares increase in a period of high demand, then increase the supply of drivers available, okay? And then demand curve shifts to the right. So there are critics of that surge pricing argue that this is a fair price gouging. What do you think of that? Okay, just open question. Okay? What do you think? Is that right? Is that correct to do? Right thing to do? Or is it illegal? Okay. Then you need to consider many effects on pricing. Right? There is a company effect on pricing. The company product line pricing. That involves setting price for all items in the product line to cover the total cost and to produce a profit for the complete line, not necessarily for each item. Okay? Because they have a full line of products, they can set set a price to cover the total cost and produce a profit for the complete line. That's what those companies can do. And that's from the company effects. There is a customer effect as well. And there's a competitive effect as well. Okay? Like a price war. Several competitors set a war, get into war by cutting prices, to gain market share. So when do you consider price cutting? If your company has an advantage over competitors, you might, right? If primary demand will grow, you might do that. Or if price cut is for a specific product, you might do price cutting. Okay? For companies, continually assess incremental cost against incremental revenue. Yeah, they just have to keep, watching how the market is reacting. There are managerial analysis questions like, how many extra units to sell to pay for $1,000 advertisement. Okay? Should 3 more salespeople be hired? Okay? So you need to consider those factors. Okay? Also, companies make special adjustments to the list or quoted price, discounts. Right? There's a quantity discounts. What's quantity discounts? The quantity discounts are reductions in unit costs for a larger order. So you buy more, get a discount, right? It could be non-cumulative quantity discounts or cumulative quantity discounts. That's, you buy more, you accumulate the account, all the purchases over the previous month, or quarters. Okay? There could be also seasonal discounts. Encourage buyers to stock inventory earlier than normal. So 3 special adjustments to list or quoted price include discounts, allowances, and geographical adjustments. Discounts, you can have quantity discounts, cumulative or non-cumulative. You have seasonal discount, we just talked about, and trade discount and cash discount. Okay? Allowances, you can have trade-in allowances, okay? Promotional allowances. And then geographical adjustment, FOB origin pricing. FOB stands for free on board. Okay? Uniform delivery pricing, single zone pricing, multiple zone pricing, FOB with the freight allowed pricing, or basing point pricing. Okay? Let's talk about the trade discounts. Basically, the manufacturers will rewards retailers for marketing functions performed to give you a functional discount. Cash discounts encourage retailers to pay bills quickly. So if you pay, say, within 10 days, I'll give you a 2% discount, okay, 210. And the trade-in allowances is a price reduction for trading used product for new product. I'm sure you buy a new car, they'll allow you to trade in your old car, and it happens with business as well. There's a promotion allowances, everyday low pricing. Okay? This is used the practice of replacing promotional allowances with the lower manufacturer list prices. This is used by companies like Walmart. Okay, these are promotional allowances. Supermarkets prefer high-low pricing and frequent specials instead of everyday low price, or EDLP. EDLP provides a lower average price than high-low pricing, but not deep discount specials. Okay? EDLP can reduce profits by 18%. That's what Walmart does. Okay? There's the FOB origin pricing. Okay? FOB is a free on board. As a price the seller quotes that includes only the cost of loading the product onto the vehicle and specifies the name of the location where the loading is to occur. Normally it's the seller's factory or warehouse. So basically the buyers will pay for the freight and the insurance. Okay? There's a uniform delivery pricing. That's the price the seller quotes that includes all transportation costs. Okay? There could be single zone pricing, same price no matter where it's located. For multiple zone pricing, prices vary across different zones. For FOB with the freight allowed pricing, buyer deducts freight expenses. And there's also the base point pricing. That is select one or more geographic locations, basing points, from which the list price for products plus freight expenses are charged to the buyer for the basing point pricing. Okay? And there are several laws, regulations that affect pricing. Pricing practices are by the legal and regulatory restrictions, which benefit both consumers and firms. There's a Consumer Goods Pricing Act that forbids vertical price fixing. There's a Sherman Act, right? On horizontal price fixing, predatory fixing. There's a Federal Trade Commission Act affecting predatory pricing and geographic pricing and deceptive pricing. There's a Robinson-Patman Act that affects geographical pricing and price discrimination. Okay? Make sure you understand all these rules and regulations how they affect pricing. Okay? Price fixing. Basically, what is price fixing? It involves a conspiracy among firms to set a price for a product. Basically, if you sell something, I sell something, we all sell something in a certain market, and then we agree on the price to charge, to sell, then we are actually colluding. This is a price fixing. It's a conspiracy. It's illegal. You can't do that. Because once we do that, all the sellers do that, guess what? Who is there to suffer? Consumers. So that's why it's illegal. Okay. The price fixing. There is a horizontal price fixing when competitors set prices, where there's a vertical price fixing, the sellers, you cannot sell below a minimum price. Okay? The vertical price fixing. Or the rule of reason, you must consider circumstances before judging legality here. Okay? Price discriminations, another one. That's the practice of charging different prices to different buyers for products of like grade and quality. Basically, you discriminate on buyers with regard to price, right? That's not good, right? There's also deceptive pricing, that's no good. Geographical pricing, no good. Predatory pricing, that's practice of charging very low price for a product with the intent of driving competitors out of business. That's not good, it's illegal, okay? This chart gives you the 5 most common deceptive pricing practices. I'm not going to read all of them for you here. I want you to read it carefully in your voice, in your book. First one is a bait and switch. I'm sure you heard about that, okay? You bait, you get a customer in, and then you switch to a different price. It's tricky. Bargains conditioned on other purchases. You have to buy this, and then you buy other things, and then you're able to buy this thing. That's no good. Comparative value comparisons, advertising such as retail value $100, our price is $85. It's deceptive. If you have verified and substantial number of stores in the market area do not price the item at 100. Okay, so that's not honest. Okay, comparisons with successive price and the former price comparisons, no good. Okay, those are all deceptive practice. Okay, I think that's that's all I have for the chapter. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.